Donald Trump sempre disse que queria drenar o pântano.
We're going to clean out the Washington swamp. I never knew it was this deep.
É uma frase de efeito para descrever o que, segundo ele, aflige Washington. Mas, ao contrário do que aconteceu no início do seu primeiro mandato, desta vez ele tomou medidas rápidas. E ele conhece o homem certo para o ajudar.
Elon Musk, Doge. Perhaps you've heard of it.
The Trump administration is allowing a private citizen to kind of have the keys and to do all of this while Congress is basically letting it happen and the judiciary is struggling to keep up.
We do need to delete entire agencies.
Para isso, Elon Musk e os membros do seu chamado Departamento de Eficiência Governamental, ou DOGE, estão se instalando no governo dos Estados Unidos.
Department of Education, Department of Energy, USAID, Department of the Treasury, Department of Defense, Social Security, you name it, they are there.
Musk has kind of been approaching all of this with a lot of glee. He's joked about being the Bobs from Office Space.
What would you say you do here?
The idea of cutting the federal budget, I think, is something that a lot of people, left or right, can get on board with.
The people voted for major government reform.
But there's a lot of question about whether Elon actually knows the ins and outs of these agencies enough to make these cuts, or if he's simply going in with a chainsaw.
I actually just call myself a humble tech support here.
This feels a lot like private equity going into a new company. You look at the books, you sell distressed assets.
This disruption is all part of the plan. This is how Elon Musk runs his companies.
But the federal government is going to run and operate in a very different way than a rocket ship company.
Então, quais são as consequências, intencionais ou não, de tentar transformar o governo federal em uma startup? E será que é isso que Trump e Musk realmente querem? Tudo começou com um meme.
The word Doge comes from this internet meme that Elon Musk is quite fond of. And so when he proposed this idea for a government cost-cutting agency, he created Doge as a backronym for Department of Government Efficiency.
O DOGE substituiu de fato uma agência chamada US Digital Service, criada pelo presidente Barack Obama para modernizar a forma como o governo usa a tecnologia. Agora, Elon Musk diz que quer fazer isso e muito mais.
Musk's whole theory is that we have inflation and high interest rates because the government overspent and we're in a deficit. So if they can really rein in spending and drop interest rates, that will help American consumers.
If we don't do this, America will go bankrupt.
They're looking for examples of what they call waste, fraud, and abuse.
Musk promised when he was on the campaign $2 trillion in budget cuts, at least.
I think we can do at least $2 trillion.
Depois ele voltou atrás e disse que temos uma boa chance de conseguir $1 trilhão em cortes, mas mesmo isso seria uma façanha e tanto. O problema é o seguinte: embora a dívida nacional esteja aumentando há anos, os pagamentos de juros sobre a dívida dos Estados Unidos atingiram o nível mais alto desde a década de 90. No último ano fiscal, o Departamento do Tesouro dos Estados Unidos gastou $882 bilhões em pagamentos de juros líquidos, cerca de $2,4 bilhões por dia. Até o momento, os cortes do DOGE não se comparam a esses números.
When you look at what he's actually cutting, it is not much.
Doge started to put online a list of canceled contracts, canceled leases that they say ended up somewhere in the neighborhood of $55 billion, but it didn't take long for people to really look at the details of what they said were cut and find duplicate cuts, typos, miscalculations.
Em um item, o DOGE informou erroneamente uma economia de $8 bilhões em um contrato cancelado, que acabou sendo um contrato de $8 milhões. Com a liderança de Musk, ele tem sob seu comando principalmente jovens com experiência em tecnologia, mas há também alguns leais de longa data a Musk, como Steve Davis. Sua abordagem é desconsiderar normas e, em alguns casos, supostamente leis sobre como as agências federais operam, principalmente em relação a pessoal e dados.
Anybody unhappy with Elon? If you are, well, throw him out of here.
Doge came in without really a very clear understanding of who works for the federal government, where, and what they do.
Tanto Trump quanto Musk citaram falsas alegações de fraude e desperdício para justificar demissões em massa em agências federais. Alguns movimentos precipitados já levaram a reversões embaraçosas e potencialmente perigosas.
Doge helped to fire or lay off roughly 350 people at the National Nuclear Security Administration. A lot of those people have very important jobs safeguarding the nation's nuclear weapons, and now some of them are being hired back.
We will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes.
Até o momento, dezenas de milhares de funcionários federais foram demitidos, pediram demissão ou aceitaram a oferta de compra de Musk desde a posse de Trump, um número que deve continuar aumentando nas próximas semanas e meses.
Elon Musk has a playbook for starting and turning around companies, and that playbook involves massive layoffs and essentially just sowing chaos within the workforce.
In Silicon Valley, you always hear move fast and break things, and sometimes things do break. In his companies, Musk has often made decisions and then had to overcorrect.
Elon has this tendency to take what he thinks worked in one corner of his world or universe and try to replicate that other places. When he took over Twitter, he immediately wanted to run it like a pure engineering company in much the same way he maybe runs Tesla or SpaceX. After he had already laid off about 50% of staff, he sent this email to employees with the subject line, "Fork in the road." He basically gave employees a little more than 24 hours to decide, do they want to be part of this new Twitter or not? And about more than 1,000 people ultimately said, this isn't for me, and they opted out.
Very early in the Trump administration, he sent out this email, subject line, "A fork in the road," and it was basically asking people to sort of commit to this new way of doing things or get out.
The consequences for how he handled the Twitter takeover are still happening. He laid off thousands of employees who are still suing him. He ultimately fired people that they had to try to hire back.
Musk's experience in the private sector is, if he lays off too many people, he can just hire a few back. That might be a little bit harder to do in the federal government.
And there's a valid fear that the rash, quick, fast decisions he's making at the US government could similarly lead to a lot of consequences down the line.
Enquanto isso, o Congresso, que tem o poder de reter fundos de acordo com a Constituição dos Estados Unidos, tem se mantido em silêncio.
And that's because Republicans control both houses of Congress.
You've seen a lot of lawsuits on behalf of federal workers filed by unions and other advocacy groups, but Doge is moving faster than them.
Apesar da natureza lenta do judiciário, alguns cortes já foram contestados como ilegais, inconstitucionais ou uma violação de contrato, e certamente haverá mais ações judiciais.
The government has agreed to spend money. It's in a contract with these groups. It can't just take the money away. There are going to be lawsuits.
Com a Suprema Corte já envolvida em alguns casos, observadores legais afirmam que o objetivo final de Trump é dar à maioria nomeada pelos republicanos uma chance de expandir ainda mais o poder executivo a seu favor. Na verdade, o atual diretor do Escritório de Gestão e Orçamento de Trump, Russell Vought, é um dos autores do Projeto 2025, um plano para expandir o poder executivo, cortar orçamentos federais e enfraquecer a supervisão regulatória.
I'm not sure that Elon Musk has read Project 2025, but nevertheless, a lot of parts of Project 2025 are coming to fruition through Doge.
Russ Vought and the OMB and Project 2025 and then Doge, they're sort of running on parallel tracks, but I think they have similar missions.
The overall goal here with the Doge team is to help address the enormous deficit. It's not an optional thing, it is an essential thing. That's the reason I'm here.
Apesar da suposta benevolência de Musk, ele e seu império multimilionário têm muito a ganhar com a redução do governo federal, e o potencial para conflitos de interesse está em toda parte.
SpaceX is regulated by the FAA, for example, and is a huge government contractor at both the Pentagon and with NASA.
Is he really the best person to decide if, say, Boeing or Lockheed Martin, which are both SpaceX competitors, should have contracts?
He owns a car company, Tesla, that the National Highway Safety Traffic Administration regulates to make sure that these autonomous vehicles that he's trying to develop don't run over people.
At least 5 inspector generals that were looking into Elon Musk's companies were fired by the Trump-Musk administration. These inspector generals, who are independent, protected by law.
Musk afirma que sua transparência permite que o público denuncie qualquer um desses conflitos.
It's not like I think I can get away with something. I'll be scrutinized nonstop.
Mas a resposta oficial da Casa Branca deixa isso por conta dele.
The president was already asked and answered this question this week, and he said if Elon Musk comes across a conflict of interest with the contracts and the funding that Doge is overseeing, then Elon will excuse himself from those contracts.
The fact that the White House is saying that he will self-police any potential conflicts is a conflict in and of itself.
Just last year, Elon Musk was promised $3 billion from close to 100 contracts with the federal government.
Primeiro foram os funcionários do Twitter e depois os funcionários públicos federais. Os Estados Unidos, como um todo, estão agora precisando escolher um caminho.
The best case scenario, Doge goes in, it makes it more efficient, and somehow it turns the civil service into the government equivalent of Tesla. The worst case scenario is Twitter, where it's super great for Elon Musk, but along the way, there's a lot of damage to the original business, which is operating the military, feeding the poor, paying out your Social Security. That all kind of falls by the wayside. Those two possibilities, that is a fork in the road that all of us face.